This war stops now.
You are tired of the war. I can see on your face.
End the war. Bring freedom to our people.
This is your life, and it's ending 1 minute at a time.
Welcome to the Stop and Listen podcast. I am your host, Jamie. Good evening. So previous episode, I talked about the first part of my day. Then I went to church afterwards. And it is funny, I mean, how often pastors and politicians can I don't know, I get the same vibe from them. I mean, they're saying different stuff, but that doesn't like really hit like they're really trying to talk to me. So anyway, is what I'm going to finish up what I didn't get to earlier. So Fox News, a psychic predicts loss for former President Trump in 2024. Look at that face. So Jesse Roberts, who I have never watched his show before. I've seen little like before when he was just coming up on Fox News was the last time I really watched it, and I mean he seems like he's got some sense to him, but apparently he brought a psychic on air to. I mean,
Roberts
is he making like a point about polls? Maybe I don't know.
is the English psychic who is on set to give us a reading right now. I would like, Paula, for you to give me a reading on President Trump.
Just the one card.
One card.
One card. Let's do just one card. We like that one. Oh.
What is that?
I mean, I do recognize that I'm at Fox TV. I am a sense of loss. A sense of loss. But it's very specific. No, let me move on. It's a sense of loss. It's as if he may be thinking more about what he's lost and not still taking full advantage of what he still has.
That's a great interpretation, Paula.
It's true. It's true. I mean, I don't make it up.
This is like the weirdest thing I've ever
President
seen.
Joe Biden, what will his year look like?
Let's look at Joe Biden.
Oh, like she.
Lots and lots and lots and lots of money. Lots of money. I mean,
Okay,
From
so
China?
that was
oh, you are cheeky.
a joke.
I didn't say from where.
She
Lots
clearly
of money.
just
A lot of
like
money.
picked
It's
that one out.
very
Okay.
I mean, above. Okay, for whatever is his normal, it's way above.
I just don't understand.
That's when I say
Like,
lots.
why?
Because I deal with everybody of every possible
Is this a
income,
weird
so
thing to do?
That's a lot.
All right, I'm going to put you in touch with James Comer after this reading. Please tell us what Jesse Waters' year will look like.
And I've got something more
Or
to tell you
he
about
just thinks
that,
it just does not matter. Maybe he's trying to get fired. Okay. Well, it's not looking good for Trump. I got a notification. I made a comment to Sununu, governor of somewhere or former governor of somewhere else. I don't know. He's tweeting something about Nikki Haley. He's backing Nikki Haley, and he's like he's got a lot of sway like from where he's from. But he was like campaigning for her in Iowa, and it's just like, dude, like you mean nothing to us. You know, I think as a culture we would be better served if we would treat politicians like they deserve to be treated, as if they are nothing. Like treat them like servants, as what, because that's what they are. Like treat them with dignity because they're human beings. Like because you want to like good-hearted people. I would hope. I mean that should be the goal. I think we have a lot of swing and misses there. I don't know what our batting average is, but keep on trying. So the FBI has been treated to a $300 million new upgrade, relocating to Maryland. That's neat. $300 million. So the FBI can just get a nicer building. That's neat. But Trump opposes it. Yeah. I wonder if he would actually stand up against it if he was in office. So Kristi Noem, the person that I think that Trump has to choose as VP. I enjoyed visiting with businesses leaders in Iowa yesterday about the economy and upcoming elections. Well, why is the governor of South Dakota going and talking to voters in Iowa? So it's going to be Kristi Noem. It's got to be. So we will have that to look forward to. Trump releases a 2022 election fraud report. I haven't heard quite a lot about this. If you see where this is at, I might dig in and just do a deep dive on that one time. I ought to. And I found this when I was looking for the story. This came up, and this doesn't have anything directly to do with Trump, but this is from the Heritage Foundation. And it says election fraud, 1,490 proven instances of voter fraud, 125 diversion programs, official findings, civil penalties, criminal convictions. I wonder how many don't get caught. So I came across this on X recently. We might maybe a nice little refresher.
Donald Trump's lead in the Republican race is now more commanding than ever. Trump is now favored by 21.8% of Republican voters. Jeb Bush is way behind at 13.2%. Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker is third with 11.6%. All the Republican presidential candidates
he's got like
trooped
70
on stage or made video appearances Monday night in New Hampshire. Trump was noticeably absent. He said it wasn't worth his time. Expect everything to change when Trump takes center stage at Thursday's Fox News debate in Cleveland. Meanwhile, check out this long-lost video of Trump that's now tearing up the internet. The year 1988. Oprah asks if he might run for president someday.
I would never want to rule it out totally because I really am tired of seeing what's happening with this country.
Sound familiar?
We have to make America great again. Thank you. Thank you.
You've said, though, that if you did run for president, you believe you'd win.
Well, I don't know. I think
I mean, I have my complaints about Trump. But I could trash him all day, but I could also praise him a lot. And okay, so I've spoken about him calling off the bombing of the Iranian military base, saving lives. And his relationship with his children and even his ex-wives, I mean, that kind of shows you too how he treats people. I mean, his ex-wives didn't I kind of assumed as soon as he was out of the White House, Melania would divorce him, and she's not. I mean, she could walk away with, if it was about money, she could walk away with a substantial sum. Then she could start writing books about how crazy he is, and she'd make even more money if she wanted to. But she's still with him. I mean, she hasn't been really showing up much lately. But I mean, who knows? I mean, how many politicians, if you go back and look at, what was that, 35 years ago in the past, that your opinions won't change.
I'd win. I tell you what, I wouldn't go in to lose. I've never gone in to lose in my life. And if I did decide to do it, I think I'd be inclined, I would say that I would have a hell of a chance of winning, because I think people, I don't know how your audience feels, but I think people are tired of seeing the United States ripped off. And I can't promise you everything, but I can tell you one thing, this country would make one hell of a lot of money from those people that for 25 years have taken advantage. It wouldn't be the way it's been, believe me.
I don't want to watch that. So I wrapped up the Donald Trump stuff pretty quickly. So I was just going to make this whole episode about Donald Trump, so I don't really know what to do now. So I'm going to find some stuff to talk about right now. And you guys won't even know the difference. I'm going to have this all cut up and shit, and like be bam, 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 and I'll be talking about it. But I'm going to be sitting here staring at the computer for a second.
10 months, they can destroy our country. And you probably heard me say, if you took
So
the
here's
10
Trump on
presidents, I
Newsmax.
used to say the 5, and then I realized
Just
the 5 don't
posted.
even come close. If you took the 10
4 minutes.
America's not great right now. We're going to make it great. We're going to make it better than ever before. But right now, we're a laughing stock all over the world. So this election is our last chance to save America. The battle begins in Iowa. It begins right here. First in the nation, it begins right here in Iowa on January 15th. And Joe Biden's banana republic ends on November 5th, 2024. That's what it is.
So, like, basically, if he wins the first 3 states, it's over. Like, if he wins Iowa, if he wins New Hampshire, if he wins South Carolina, it's over. I mean, South Carolina is Nikki Haley's home state. He'll win in Florida. He'll beat Ron DeSantis in Florida. But it could be over awfully quick. Can't believe Joe Biden is president. Donald Trump is running against him. And then RFK Jr. is also running. They're all in their freaking 80s. I mean... Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'm like, I mean, DeSantis really did just cash a check. Nikki Haley clearly an empty suit. Like, I mean, DeSantis has principles and just he clearly has cashed a check recently, and he's lost a little bit on his fastball, I think. And he did it for no reason. He burnt up his chances. Wow. Holy shit.
And with your help, we're going to bring back our country. We're going to bring it back from hell, because this country has been in hell. What they've done, and they ought to, you know what they ought to do? They ought to release the J6 hostages. They've suffered enough. They ought to release them. I call them hostages. Some people call them prisoners. I call them hostages. Release the J6 hostages, Joe. Release them, Joe. You can do it real easy, Joe. This guy, what he's done to people. And Antifa knocks the hell out of Portland, takes over parts of Seattle, destroys Minneapolis. If I didn't send in the soldiers, Minneapolis, you wouldn't even have Minneapolis, right? Because the governor wouldn't do anything. I'm not even supposed to do that. I had no choice. 7 days in, I sent him in. The place was burning down. They took over the police station. The police weren't allowed to do their jobs. We got to allow the police to do their jobs, and we're going to indemnify the police against liability, and you'll stop crime. Remember that CNN guy? He's up. This is really a friendly protest. Remember that? Minneapolis. This is a friendly protest. And right behind him, the whole city was burning to the ground. You remember that? As far as the eye could see, it was all flames.
It's so funny because the way he talks, like, because it wasn't. It's not what he said verbatim. Like, that was just there was a car on fire behind him, but it wasn't the whole time like a hellscape. Like, oh my god. Well, y'all gotta appreciate this, y'all liberals. I mean, you're on the left. I get it, but there's the liberals out there. Come on, you tell me you can't enjoy this shit. This is awesome.
And I mean, all massive. It looked the biggest fire I've ever seen. And he said, "Oh, this is CNN." That's right, CNN. This has been a friendly protest. Friendly. No, it's one of the greatest scenes in the history of television as he's calling, and behind it, I don't mean like there's a little smoke. The whole place was in flames. It was crazy. No, they're really bad. But victory cannot come soon enough as we speak. The last remnants of our open and broken borders are crumbling into rubble. as millions and millions of people storm into the United States in the largest illegal mass migration in the history of the world. There's never been a migration like this. Millions and millions of people. It'll be 15 or 16 million people by the end of this guy's term. And I'm not even sure he understands. You know, he's not a smart guy. I never used to talk this way about him. I talk very badly about him now because he did. He indicted me 4 times. That means everything's off, right? He has
He
this
used
guy
to be
Jack
nice.
Smith. He's a deranged human being. He's a nut job. I have him, and he's being investigated on boxes. He did real stuff because he wasn't protected by the Presidential Records Act. But I have Jack Smith, deranged Jack Smith, I call him. And he's all over the place, trying to frighten people, trying to scare people. And he has a very bad record. You know why? Because he always goes too far. He goes so far. And he's got a bad record, lost before the Supreme Court a couple of times. But a record 300,000 illegal aliens were detected crossing the borders in December. And think of that, 300,000. That's bigger than almost any city you have in your state. Iowa has, I don't know, how many people in Des Moines? How many people does Des Moines have? What is it? 100,000. Got to be bigger than that. He said 200. Whatever. 300,000 came in like in the last couple of months. 300,000. We have no idea.
He's such a
from
showman.
Parts unknown. It's from
He's
parts unknown.
just
Ladies and
performing.
gentlemen, we have 300,000 people from parts unknown. They have languages that we don't even have people that know what the languages are. So it's rough stuff what they're doing to our country, but we're going to turn it around. Under the Trump administration, we have the most secure border in U.S. history. We built 561 miles of border wall. You know, I tell people, because they like to say we did 50 miles. Okay, 50 miles when? The first week? So if we have a 2x4 laying on the ground, and over there that's 50 years old and rotted, just sort of decayed, and just, you know, maybe it was a little bit of...
I am not an advocate for war, but either we have to make Mexico safe or we have to build a big wall. And I would probably advocate for making Mexico safe regardless. All those people don't deserve to live in tyranny from drug cartels. There must be human trafficking. You'd certainly assume so.
A tiny wall or something, which we throw away and start the new wall. We go down 8 feet. We go up 30 feet and 40 feet. But if there's a little piece of steel that's 50 years old that's rotted, laying on the ground, they say, he didn't build a wall there. That was just a renovation. These people are sick. And you do. You have garbage laying up and down the border. Anytime you had anything, it was a piece of paper laying, they say, it was because they don't want you. We did an unbelievable job. The reason our numbers are so good are that. And, of course, I got 28,000 soldiers free of charge from Mexico. Not easy to get. When I went to the president, I said, you have to give us 28,000 soldiers while we're building the wall. And remember when I used to say Mexico will pay for pieces of the wall, but you can't do it legally. It's a little hard for them to pay for a wall that we own. You know, it's not that easy. But there was no real legal mechanism. But there was a mechanism where they could pay for soldiers. So I want 28,000 soldiers on the border. I want to remain in Mexico policy. I got all this stuff. And I got it despite the State Department. Everyone else telling you can't get it. A woman at the State Department was terrific, but she was not a good negotiator. She said, sir, you can't get free soldiers from Mexico. We've been asking them for years. They won't do it. I said, yes, they will. 100% they'll do it. 100%. And as far as catch and release, you know, catch and release meant we release them into our country. We had a new definition. Catch and release, we release them into Mexico. Slight difference, slight difference. And then we had remain in Mexico. Remember Tijuana? Tijuana, over about a 2-week period, became like the largest city in the world. I'm only kidding when I say, I have to be very careful because when I say something like that and I'm sarcastic, they say, he called Tijuana the largest city. And Seoul is larger. And Beijing is larger, you know. If you're a little sarcastic with these characters, they say, he lied, we're giving him a Pinocchio, you know, Pinocchio, 4 stars, because I said Tijuana. But Tijuana became a massive mess because they had hundreds of thousands of people there that we wouldn't allow into the country. Biden ended that. It wasn't easy to get. And I was very tough with Mexico. I said, you know, you do this. And by the way, Mexico now is asking for $5 billion if we want them to help us keep people out of our country. They would never have done that with me. I said, look, if you don't do it, because they had a representative come in, I said, if you don't do that, and he was a handsome guy, came in, and I really do. I like the president of Mexico. He's a great guy. He's a socialist. But what the hell can you do? You can't have them all, right? But he's a great guy. And he sent his top negotiator, his top representative, came in, very handsome, suave guy, beautifully dressed. I remember how good I was going to ask him for his tailor, but I didn't feel like going to Mexico to get a suit. It wasn't worthwhile to go to Mexico to get a suit. But very suave guy. And I said, we need 28,000 soldiers, and you're going to have to pay for them. No. He looks laughing. Oh, no, we won't do it. Oh, yes, you will. No, you will do it. 100%. You're going to do it. No, we're not going to do it. Yes, you will. You will do it. You'll do it. And he didn't know what was going on. Then I said, we want remain in Mexico. Everybody that's at the border is going to remain.
I mean, America, we've done some awful things and continue to do awful things. We could just invade Mexico and Canada, and I mean, the funny thing is, okay, so like they said, you were like California used to be like Mexican territory, at least most of it, and you know, a good chunk of the southwest of our country. Even before the current migration problem down the southern border, they were still coming here. So it's always been a kind of a funny argument that's saying like, oh, all this should be Mexico. Well, then they'd still be coming here. We just would be less here to be here. So let's make Mexico safe again. Can that be a slogan? Can we make a shirt out of that? Makes Mexico safe again. Make Mexico safe. SA.
In Mexico. And did we create a mess there? Because Tijuana and these cities along the border they had a lot of people. And no, we won't do that. We can't allow that. We're not equipped for that. I said, yes, you are. You're going to do it. And then we had other things, including our title program, where we had, if sick people are sick, we don't want them in our country. We don't want them in our country. So he said, no. I said, yes, you're going to do it. Don't worry about it. He said, we will not do it. You're going to do it. 100% you're going to do it. I said, here's the story. In front of me, I have a piece of paper that I actually signed. On Monday morning, this was Friday afternoon, on Monday morning, we're going to charge every piece of equipment, every car that you took out of the United States. They took out 32% of our business. They make them in Mexico. They have some of the largest auto plants in the world. They stole them from our stupid people. Our stupid, I hate to say it because, again, I have a lot of respect for a president, but our presidents were very stupid when they allowed this to happen. 32% of our automobile business was taken out of our country and is in Mexico. So they send massive numbers, millions of cars into our country. I said, we're going to charge you 25% on every car that comes into our country and 25% on every item. And in 2 months, it goes to 50%. And in 2 months after that, it goes to 75%. And maybe I'll stop at 75%. And he goes, no. And he said, may I be excused? May I make a phone call? And he comes back. I say, but make it quick if you would. I have to get out of here. And I tell you, I really impressed the woman at the State Department because she was a good woman. But she said, I can't believe this. Because all these things, and I asked Tom Homan.
And that's something crazy.
I asked Brandon Judd.
To really stop, you have to incentivize companies to stay here. Going after them and using political strong arms, I don't think it's a good idea because there are so many stakeholders in huge corporations like that. You're making enemies you don't even know.
They're great guys, by the way. All they had to do was let them do their jobs. This guy would go to the beach. If he didn't tell him to do it, if he went to the beach, that little chair that he holds up, of course, it's like 3 ounces, right? A child can, they're meant for children to lift them for the grandfather, right? He can't lift them. Did you see how he couldn't get it out of the sand? The thing weighs like 6 ounces, I guess. And if he would have gone to the beach, because somebody in his campaign said, you look really good in a bathing suit. When you're 82, or whatever the hell he is, I know a lot of people, by the way, in their 80s, that the sharpest people. I know a friend of mine became a billionaire he never quite made it. And then he hit big from 80 to 90. He became worth billions of dollars. This is not an age thing.
A side note, so a little bit's coming out from the Epstein thing. Supposedly, let's act like what they're telling us is true on that. But basically clears Trump of any kind of involvement. Because, they've come across each other in different circles, but Trump never was involved in any of that. Which I'm sure the left guy, they would have loved any kind of implication that he was. Then if that was the case, of course, if Trump would have been involved, then he would have deserved to be ruined.
Something else is going on up there with this guy. But all he had to do is leave it alone. He could have gone to the beach. If he would have gone to the beach and left everything alone, he would have had the safest border in history. But he decided to end everything that we were doing. He wouldn't even put up the planks, the panels of wall. We had bought them, 200 miles of wall. He sold them, I understand, for 5 cents on the dollar. It's expensive stuff because it's rebar. It's what they wanted. It's rebar, concrete, and steel on the outside. And it's really a sad thing. I will tell you, it's really a sad thing. We had the greatest border. We had the greatest border in history, and now we have the worst border in the history of the world. No place in the world. But Ron DeSanctimonious, Nikki Haley, and the rest they're never going to be into securing the border because they're globalists. They want the globe. They like the globe, and they believe it. Maybe they're right. I don't think they're right. I think I've proven they're not right. And we want to protect America, and we'll help people, but we want to protect America. We've got $35 trillion in debt. You know that debt. We were going to be drilling like crazy, and we became number one. We went from number 4 to number 1 in a period of short period of time.
So that's Trump. What is this world going to look like in a year's time? Today is January 6th, actually, when I'm recording this. Coincidentally, someone told me that at they've said at the campaign event I went to earlier today, and I had an idea. Forgot about that little detail. So this is going to be a fascinating year, day by day. And I'm telling you what, folks, I seen the story on Twitter about Trump putting out his election fraud case. I seen that on Twitter, on a social media. That is important. The victimhood industry in our country that is ever expanding. If you're truly a victim, then you would be happy you're in the United States. Because we are flawed, but you can turn things around in this country. That's possible, and it's so hard. It is so hard. It's not easy. I'm not saying it like I'm not sitting from a standpoint of like, oh, you can do it too. I'm trying. I'm working on it, But it is possible. I see that it is possible. You can make the right moves and do something. Turn your life around quickly in this country. And that is with all the obstacles in it, which is amazing. Could you imagine how easy you could flourish if the government got out of our way and stopped with the shackles, stop impeding us from flourishing? That sounds amazing. That would sound like a damn perfect world. We need to figure out what we can all get on board with and then just talk about those issues. We have to speak. We can't depend on other people to speak for us. Get involved, go to your city council meetings, your school board meetings. Politicians come through town. Listen to what they have to say. If you get a chance to say something, if you find untruths that they're speaking or you find that they're morally objectionable, raise it. I don't have anywhere to go. Tucker Carlson said that in his tirade against Ben Shapiro, but it's true. It's true. I have nowhere to go. Where am I going to go? This is home. So, that's the case for many, many other people. This is our home. Show each other some. Let's show each other some dignity. Show each other some love. And find some common ground. And lock arms and make the world a better place. So, that's all I got for today. Shit, that sucks. Thank you for watching. Please like, follow, subscribe, comment, do all the things. I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
I'd say that was a pretty successful broadcast.
See you next time.